It is over. Agamatsu, you ruined PvE. I'll never forgive you. Alright, intro over. I mean, for the last, year and a half, or really 2 years, the divide between the player base has never been larger. Really, you're either stereotyped as a PvE player or a PvP player. And it's gotten to a point where there's almost two separate games coinciding under the title of Deepwoken. Right, it's hard to balance for PvP because you may inadvertently ruin PvE. For example, Tornado. It was pretty annoying to fight with the Chain Warden build. It got nerfed for PvP reasons. Then a ton of people complained because Tornado was a pivotal, core mantra for PvE mages, you know? It's always been difficult having these two sides of the community essentially have totally different needs and totally different wants. Because, like I said, you give one side what they want, and as a result, it's going to nerf or completely change how the other side plays. Which is terrible game design, right? You do not want your game to function like that. But, similar to, and now that I'm saying this out loud, it's the Deepwoken devs are like politicians, right? It's a massive problem, but they don't want to put in the effort to fix it, and they don't want to deal with the blowback that would come with fixing it. So they kick the can down the road to their predecessor, which happened to be Agamatsu. Agamatsu, he's teed up, so he has his balls firmly intact. They're out of Roblox's handbag, and he changed the game, right? He nerfed the fuck out of PvE is what you'd hear. Really, he kind of saved PvE. It was always an argument that PvE players need, I don't even know what they would need, right? That they just can't fight back against a PvP player. That if they get jumped in the depths because they have DVM, and they have very specific mantras, they aren't able to fight back. If you want to make the argument about they don't have good mantras, or they don't have good talents, that's an argument. We can definitely have that because there is some validity to that. But when it comes to the actual armor, I'd say that was probably the biggest drawback. That a lot of PvEs would have high 400s, low 500s when it comes to HP and then next to no resistances, because a lot of those pips were going towards DVM. Well, now that there are quests for DVM being innate, you free up your pips, and now the average PvE build is gonna have 550 HP and some resistance. On paper, they should be able to fight back better, and now the divide between PvE and PvP is far, far smaller. When it comes to the actual content, right, of completing the quests to sort of obtain the previous DVM you had, I mean, we'll have to see, right? Because it's going to take time to find out the long-term ramifications of this. But largely, I think that was the right idea. I know, myself included, Deepwoken players have gotten spoiled. For the last year and a half, when the devs drop content, we see, you read it in the weekly, and you're thinking, okay, I want it right now. And for the most part, you could get it right then, you know? It'd be content that you can get within, an hour or two, with very little effort. So now that we're returning to this more roguelike kind of grinding content, there's some cognitive dissonance, because a lot of players have joined in the last year and a half, so they don't remember. They never played a version of Deepwoken that was grindy and took a lot of time, right? They've only ever known Deepwoken to be in this state where if you see something, you can get it. I mean, new legendary weapon? Instead of having to grind in the depths for hours and hours like you did for the Crypt and Curved, you just touch the job board, immediately it'll spawn the NPC, and then you just get it, right? So having to actually grind for days, if not weeks, to get all of these quests completed and get all this DVM and monster armor, yeah, there's some cognitive dissonance. A lot of players aren't used to it, and a lot of players don't like it. But ultimately, I do think it was the right decision. And with Deepwoken sitting at around 13,000 players, I mean, it's pretty clear there is at least some interest in this new, monster armor and DVM system, right? There's at least generated some debate over it. Of course, I think most people are exaggerating. Now, when it comes to the bosses and the very specific quests, 100 bounders, or 100 enmity, or whatever it is, yeah, that's not going to be the easiest to do. But for the most part, if you want to complete these quests, dude, just do Diluvian, right? Just do a couple hours of Wave 50 Diluvian, and you'll have the majority of it done. Even better, do Hell Mode, right? People are acting like these are impossible feats when the systems for spawning massive amounts of randomized monsters already exists, right? You could probably complete, I'd say, 80% of these quests in one good session of just Hell Mode or Diluvian. So ultimately, the community, right, we're more united than we previously were. We're more united than we were just a week ago, right? The divide between PvE and PvP is a little smaller. Really, it's a lot smaller. And now we can hopefully move forward and see some more hardcore content. The only issue I have with the update Agamatsu's dropped is the relics. Because the relics being droppable is another thing that massively affects PvE. Honestly, relics being droppable affects PvE players more than the actual DVM changes. They shouldn't have done a poll. They should have just gone with option B, that they drop on death or you can drop them intentionally. Because it's no different, right? Because now what happens, and Inu made a video about it, like, you get jumped in the depths, they pick you up, put you on their shoulder, and they say, all right, send me a picture of your inventory. Or if you have relics, drop them or I wipe you. It's the same as verse 1, right? In verse 1, you wouldn't lose your enchants on death, right? They hotfixed that, but you could still drop them normally. So people would come over, knock you, and say, drop your shit or I wipe you. And even if you did even if you did drop your enchants, they'd still wipe you. Same with relics. Even if you drop them, they still wipe you. Right? Functionally, it's no different. PvEs are going to get harassed in the depths more than ever. There's got to be some kind of low-key, either fully commit to it instead of this like half-baked version, or, which is probably the more reasonable thing, is to just hotfix, remove that feature until a more comprehensive system can be developed, and then we can talk about relics being droppable in some way, shape, or form. But ultimately, I think this is great for the game. We're already seeing community sentiment change a lot. The balancing is way better than it's been. Content ideas are flourishing. People are interested in the game again. They're talking about the game. They're making videos about the game. Like I said in the previous video, the Deepwoken community had been infested with essentially apathy. Nobody cared about anything. But now, I mean, just to look at people rioting and upset. Clearly, there's an emotional investment. People are interested in Deep again. They care again. Yeah, that's all, man. I'm gonna drop some more videos later. I haven't been uploading because, I don't know, I've just been living life. But hey, I'm back. I need to pay off these DoorDash fees, bro.